Hey everyone, my name is Andrew Davis, and you're watching Conversations in Pop Culture, and we are back to the basics. And before I introduce my guest, I do want to remind everybody that this episode is brought to you by my friends over at Pocketjack Comics, who have books like Palace of the Golden Princess and White Lily, and you can find their books at pocketjackcomics.com or on Kickstarter, or you just type in Pocketjack Comics. It will probably appear on Google, so go check out what they do because their books are beautifully done, and there is something for everybody off of Preston. So there you go right there with that. But enough about that, because I have with me comic creator Matt Knowles. So welcome back to the show.
What's going on, man? Long time no speak. Back after we just had to talk crap. We went through the game. We talked like 3 or 4 or 5 different sports leagues, but that was all for the pre-show, man. Now we're getting down to brass tacks, talking about the stuff I'm really here for, which is comics and all kinds of fun nerd and geek crap like that.
Yes, exactly. We were talking about the Super Bowl and the good part of the Super Bowl, which was the game. Everybody agrees the game was the best game ever.
It was incredible. It was incredible.
Top one, right? No. But no. We were talking about the Super Bowl. It was crazy. But anyway, enough about that, because that's not why we're here. As you stated, is you have a Kickstarter going on, and it is Tatsumi, the Serpent Mistress, which is funding on Kickstarter now. And we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it. But before we do that, why don't you introduce who you are? Because you've been in the game for a while.
Sure. My name is Matt Knowles. I'm one half of Symmetry Creations alongside Steph Cannon. We do all kinds of different titles. We've got metal music that ties into the different stuff that we do. Steph writes articles. She's got over 100 bylines for quite a few different websites that are out there. Her most recent one she did was for the Daily Jaws after she had the opportunity to sit on the Jaws 50th anniversary panel at San Diego Comic-Con. She's also wrote an article for the Daily Jaws after that. And I'm a panel host, MC for some conventions, so I get a chance to get up there and interview some of your favorite people and your favorite actors and actresses from movies and television. And but the top thing, the most important thing we do is our titles, Tatsumi, the Serpent Mistress. This is the second campaign for Tatsumi. It was well received with issue 1, which we did last year. This year, we're going to definitely be doing issue 2 and issue 3 at minimum. And we're having a lot of fun with the campaign. A lot of fun with this campaign. It ends on Friday. Well, hopefully when the thing is done, you'll decide that you want to go take a look at the campaign because, we would like to have as many people as possible come and join us on this journey.
Yeah, so let's get into it a little bit, because obviously this is the second issue and it is funding on Kickstarter. So what is the basic story of Tatsumi, the Mistress Serpent? Because before we get into everything that's going on, because there's a lot of stuff going on with it. So what is the, elevator pitch?
Okay, so the elevator pitch, we like to say, imagine Pirates of the Caribbean and a live-action One Piece meeting your favorite martial arts heroine. Tatsumi started from... Her first appearance was in our fantasy horror graphic novel, I Am Keto. You find out she's one of 2 people that actually survived this onslaught, this raising of her lands by this force called the Dark Conquestors and their supernatural evil beings, the Soul Rippers. So Tatsumi, she's all hell-bent on retribution and revenge, but she finds herself afloat in the ocean because she's the only one that she knows of that's left. She gets picked up by a renegade pirate crew, and seeing this Onibagesha, this female martial artist, have to assimilate herself into renegade pirate culture while she's looking for people to come and support her in this quest to take down the Dark Conquestors and the Soul Rippers, is one of the favorite things we like to do, which is fish out of water stories, see how she integrates in with their culture, see how they integrate in with what she's saying, and kind of go from there. In issue 1, we basically covered just their meeting, how their meeting came to be, why this pirate crew would even listen to this person. Some supernatural elements are kind of there as well. And then in issue 2, we basically is all going to take place at the port of Alabasas. The pirate ship is called the Side Stalker. It's the Side Stalker's home port. And we have a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun action sequences and set pieces in there. And one of the coolest things about this issue is we have the Real World Band out of San Diego, the Dread Crew of Oddwood, who is a pirate band. They play all kinds of pirate music and all that. Just got done with a pretty popular European tour just yesterday. They have a guest spot in the issue. Their music is the music in the campaign video. It's only the second time ever that I'm not playing the music in the campaign video. Their music just fit perfectly. So we have these wild hooligans from the Dread Crew of Oddwood actually in the issue as well.
So there's a lot to break down here. So
a ton.
So the first thing I want to break down is that what is it like to go take a character and almost have their origin story in another book and then migrate it over? Because it's really interesting because you kind of get to test, I guess, a little bit of how the reaction is to that character in the other book. You also get, technically, you could potentially get another sale, not to get too much into the business, and to give a cop out, because now it's like, what's the origin story of this character? And then it opens up a variety of other stuff, because it's kind of like you're throwing something out there and then people are like, what happens next to this character? And then it kind of launches the book. And like, but if the book failed with that, I think either it was a one shot or it's a continuing series. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, it was one shot.
If it failed, you're like, okay, we tried something and it didn't work. So like, that's the first thing that I think is so interesting, because it's kind of cool when you get to do that.
Well, one of the things that we really like to do is, if you look at all the stuff we've released other than Misfits Clubhouse, if you look at everything else we've released, there is some kind of connection through it. Basically, Heirs of Isildur, which was our steampunk apocalyptic series, was the baseline. You had Tales from Nocturnia, our medieval fantasy story that connected in. Keto from I Am Keto is a character in Heirs of Isildur, The Perilous Prospects. So when we were writing Heirs of Isildur, The Perilous Prospects, we were like, hey, we want to do this graphic novel one shot to tell his story about everything that happens before he becomes a part of Heirs of Isildur. And we knew the entire time that his story was going to end there. And we knew that we were going to have one of the characters from that one-shot graphic novel was going to have their own series moving forward. And so we knew the whole time that Tatsumi was going to continue forward and have her own series. And we had to be very careful, because we kept on saying Keto's story in this universe is complete. We're not going to see Keto back in the I Am Keto universe, but we never said we're not going to ever go back to that universe. Because we always knew that Tatsumi was going to stay there. But even in writing Tatsumi's story, you'll see from I Am Keto to Tatsumi, it's wildly different. There are no pirates in there. She's not dealing with, the typical European style pirates. I mean, in I Am Keto, that group of people had never seen anybody outside of their ethnic origins. They lived in a mountain community that was protected by these mystical orchids. So when they see the Dark Conquestors and Soul Rippers come in, they'd never seen anything like that. So when you start issue 1 of Tatsumi and she has this, ethnically European, most of them, pirate crew, she thinks they're Dark Conquestors again, because she's never seen anything other than her own people. So they have to convince her that they have no idea what she's talking about and kind of explain to her how she came about being in their care, so to speak. But it's been really fun. It's been fun developing new characters. It's been fun having an unquestioned female lead in a story. There's actually quite a few strong female characters, as we always have strong female characters in our stories, but it's been fun having that unquestioned lead at the top, and have like pirate captains and port masters getting outsmarted by her and stuff like that. It's been pretty fun.
So obviously, because I think it's great to when you get to have launching off points and you get to kind of do all that stuff, because it's universe building. And I don't know, like, if you've ever watched a show and then it's continued in a book, or there's ever been a spinoff book, that's always fun too. So like, I'm right now reading. I'm a huge Avatar: Last Airbender fan, and I'm reading the Kyoshi series. So It's a different world, and it's 400 years before Avatar: Last Airbender. But I know the rules of Avatar and that world. So it's kind of fun when you get to go into that. But I want to talk about this because now you have a character who is kind of a badass to some degree, and she wants revenge. And I mean, I don't know if she's gonna get it, but she's now in the pirate world to some degree, and shenanigans is happening while she's trying. And I'm not too sure if this pirate crew wants to go get revenge with her, but they're not opposed to bring her along for the ride. And so it's kind of like, I'm not exactly sure where we're going with this, but it's kind of like an adventure to get to the next place to do some crazy shit. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like,
without spoiling issue 1, which this is one of the plot points in issue 1, what's a way that you can entice a pirate crew to want to go on about your journey? And that is to entice them with some kind of riches or treasure. And they're like, hey, we're already plotting our course, we know where we're supposed to be. And they're like, they start mocking her. They're like, this beat up fishing boat and this broken oar that you have, do you think this is gonna, we have riches we're looking forward to? And she's like, hey, if riches are what you're looking for, I can provide that. And they're like, what do you mean? And she's like, I'm the only person left from my empire. If you go help me take care of these people, we'll go back to the empire. Whatever treasure is there, I'll split it with you. And they're like, well, hold on now. They're like, So she has to look at every situation. And there are quite a few, even in issues 1 and 2, where she has to think on her feet to find a way to take that situation and turn it to her benefit, but do it in a way that is clandestine in a sense, where she's not making fools out of people. Now, there are some people she does have to make a fool out of, 100%, but she always is doing it with the right course in mind. If this person over here has to be, called on the carpet so I can get these 10 people over here to potentially want to come with me, then that's going to happen.
Yeah, because it's kind of a crazy book, right? Because, like, obviously, I mean, you got a pirate crew now going on revenge to get rich. I mean, but it's not like they're going where they're in this world and then they wind up in issue 2 in, this port, and it's kind of a musical discrepancy. It might be a good way to put it. And I don't know if somebody stole somebody's iPhone or their iPad or whatever they did, or maybe they rubbed on the wrong person at a concert, or they drank from the wrong beer keg. I don't know what happened exactly, but there's some issues between, these two groups. And they're not, I don't think they like each other's music per se. It might be a good way to put it.
But it was actually fun because when Steph and I were putting the issue together, we knew there was going to be a scene in a tavern in the port, and we knew there was going to be a musical group playing on the stage, and there was going to be some kind of crazy, conflict shenanigans that were going to take place in there. And just one day, I was like, I was talking to Steph, and I was like, is there any reason why we haven't asked the Dread Crew of Oddwood to be in here? Which was me kind of being rhetorical, because that would be, I mean, they're people that I know. And I was kind of rhetorically saying, is there a reason why we haven't asked the Dread Crew of Oddwood? She's like, no, I have no idea why you haven't asked them. And asked those guys, and they were all for it, because if you ever watched any of their music videos, I highly encourage you to do it. They are lunatics with their videos. They do all kinds of fun stuff. And when I brought the concept up to them, they were all about it. One of the interesting things about having someone like that in the issue was then we had to clear their portrayal in the issue with them, because, just because they're in our issue, they want to be able to be fully behind how we portray them. Now, even if there's a conflict between the Side Stalker crew and the Dread Crew of Oddwood, they wanted to make sure that it was just a playful kind of conflict where, like, pirates and other pirates just want to, have fisticuffs and stuff like that. They didn't want it to be because, their group was immoral more than a normal pirate would be. They, they're like, hey, as long as it's something where if we have it at our table at a show and people are like, yeah, this is a portrayal of the Dread Crew, it's the same Dread Crew that's on the real stage there.
So let's actually talk about this, because there's a few things that I think are really interesting. Is that first and foremost, it's always fun when you get the celebrity band, put them into your book, right? And you get to write them, and they're down for it, because it's kind of an honor that somebody trusts you and says, oh, I would love to be a part of that, right? and I mean, I've never done that, but the coolest thing for me is that when I reach out to a big celebrity and they want to come on my show, it's always like an honor that somebody who doesn't have to do it, right, wants to be a part of it. So that's the one thing. The second thing that I think is interesting is that it gives credibility somewhat when you have, a band, and especially one that is pirate-esque. I like to use that word that fits perfectly and it's not forced. That also is, I think, an issue, like a big deal. And then you said it yourself, like just making sure that, everything is good with them too. Because that's also something that I think people don't understand is that when you're using celebrity likeness or NILs, you got to make sure that you don't screw the people you're writing. You really got to protect them. I mean, I don't think that's a secret. And if this is news to anybody, you've been informed.
Oh yeah, and one of the interesting things too was after we did their part and we actually had their script parts written, their pages done. When they went to go on the tour, they got a new band member. So they needed to fill their bass player. They have an upright bass on their shows, and they had gotten a new bass player right before we went to start the campaign, and there was no way we could get her name is Dag Nasty. No way we could get Dag Nasty into the issue, but we were going to do a cover that was going to have them be a part of it as well. So we found a way to get her a pretty prominent spot on the cover. So even though she's not in the issue, all 5 of the people in the Dread crew got to be on the cover. We got Ren and Shody to do the cover, and it's a fun cover, and we're really glad to be able to get the whole band onto the cover. And to the point about making sure that the NIL likeness is accurate. One of the things we didn't realize once we colored it was that they have very specific outfits, and the coloring of the outfits, specific color vest or specific color headband. And without studying these guys to the nth degree, which would be super kind of weird if, we studied, hey, I saw that you wore this shirt, blah, blah, but he's like, hey, my brother wears this color headband. I wear this color headband. It's part like our thing. So we actually went back into the pages and just adjusted the tones on those things so that they were closer to that. And as soon as we did that, they're like, yeah, that's us. Now somebody can look at this picture and not just in the clothing, they can look at the coloring and be like, yep, that's the Dread crew right there. So we felt good about being able to go back and do that a little bit more for them as well.
That's so interesting, right? Because that's something that I don't think people think of. And it's not like ill-intended. It just is like, oh, snap, right? But it is important, especially when people, and you're talking about imaging, right? I mean, it's super important and all that stuff. But like, again, and it's also really fun because like they're kind of having a pirate brawl. I mean, who doesn't want to be in a pirate brawl? Have you seen One Piece?
Oh, absolutely. That's why I said the live action One Piece is something we think is very reminiscent of I think that's an incredibly written 8-episode miniseries that's on Netflix, and the fun and the levity of that is definitely something that carries over. It doesn't mean that there's not, serious subject matter and dark tones and all that, but especially in the pirate brawl and especially in areas like that, you're going to be like, yeah, I can see why they say Pirates of the Caribbean, One Piece, martial arts all goes along together in there.
Because it's fun to be in a pirate brawl. I'm not saying I'm just going to plead the fifth on this one. I may or may not have been involved in pirates, but we could all just plead the fifth on this. I may or may not be a secret One Piece fan. We could also plead on that. Just all you have to do is just go through my YouTube, and maybe there's been some prominent voice actors from One Piece on my show. One of my favorite people, but we're not going to go into that too much. But you don't have to look that far, everybody. It's not that hard. But all jokes aside, and then the other thing that I think is also really cool too is that obviously they did some music stuff with this, and they did, so that's the other thing that's cool too is that it's now I don't know what it's called, but it's like you're crossing media.
Absolutely.
Like there's a word for that, right? You might know it. I don't know it, but
cross media. You can say that. You can say that. I mean that's a perfectly acceptable term to use, because that's something we've done from the get-go. I mean, there's 2 Heirs of Isildur albums that go along with that, and then there's a half a dozen songs for Tales from Nocturnia. I've done the theme song for I Am Keto and the one for Tatsumi during the first campaign. And I was working on music, and I'm still working on it, that was going to go with episode 2, with issue 2, but just utilizing some of the Dread Crew music. It's actually a medley of 3 of their songs that we used for the campaign video for this one. It just fit right. It was just like, why am I going to try to do something better than the pirate band that's in here? This one, for this issue, this fits perfectly right. And why not give people that have never heard them a chance to be able to be exposed to them? The whole goal of doing collaborations is hopefully some of their fans are going to be like, oh crap, the Dread Crew's doing this, let me check it out. And hopefully some of our fans will do the same thing. I know there's already been people that have heard the campaign video, like, dude, this band is pretty cool, I need to go check these guys out, and have become fans of the Dread Crew just because of our campaign.
Because I think it's also really cool when you start crossing media, and then it just creates a more interesting experience, right?
Absolutely.
And that's the thing where I think it's very cool on that front. And then obviously, there's just a lot of other stuff that goes on with this, and I don't want to ruin too much of it, but like, this is kind of the whole thing where we're getting a crazy story here, and I don't know if it's dark, but it seems colorful, like what I've read.
Well, there's some dark spots, I'll tell you. So right now we are about to, like, our main artist is about to start working on the last couple of pages of issue 4 right now. That's where we're at. So we've issue 3 has got some other wild set pieces in there. And one of the best things about issue 3, I'll say this, is that you feel like in the first 2 issues, you can see where the story's going. And we have definitely created a scenario where when you see issues 3 and issue 4, you're going to go, I did not see that coming from anywhere. What in the heck? But we did that because we wanted that to mirror our own lives. You could have a plan. You could be like, in the next year, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this, and this is the exact path I'm going to be on, and I'm going to make this happen, and you're going to take steps, and the next thing you know, some enormous monkey wrench is going to get thrown in, and you're going to have to go, oh crap, I've got to pivot and adjust what I'm doing now, because everything that I was going to do just got thrown on its head. I need to come up with a new plan fast and go from there.
That was my Thursday night. Thank you, the Suns. Thank you a lot. It's all right. It's all right. Saturday fixed it. But I don't want to talk about that. But so all jokes aside, very, very upsetting loss. The Sun. They choked. It was horrible. It was worse than the Knicks with Reggie Miller. It was just terrible. But all jokes aside, this is really interesting though, because with writing, and I don't know how you feel about it, but have you ever read a comic book and you're like, I know exactly where we're going over the next 6 issues, and it kills you. It kills you, right? Better yet, I'll give you a better one, right? Because you're a WWE fan, and so am I. We know where certain stories are going, and we know, and we're like, can we just get here next week on Raw and then move on and get something else? Other stories were like, oh snap, and then there's other stories we're like, we know the John Cena heel turn. I don't know if we knew this heel turn of Cena was going to come, but we knew. We were all watching WrestleMania because there was parts of us that said we want him to lose. There's parts of us that said we want him to win. But that's one of the things that I think is really interesting, is that when you get that plot twist, you're like, we just went AWOL, and what the hell just happened? Because I think being unexpected as a reader, and not even as a podcaster, it's always great when I'm like, oh, that just happened. And then I'm caught off guard. And I think there's something to be said about that, because in comics, there's complacency. And people, I feel like, just give me, meat and potatoes. And you know what it is? Throw something else on there. Give me a chicken breast instead of a steak when I'm expecting a steak.
Well, I think if you go back to 1996, to the most unexpected storyline in wrestling history, the debut of the NWO, I think the reason why that worked as well as it did was because it was so utterly unexpected. The couple of early plot twists with Hogan becoming the 3rd member of the NWO, those kind of things. That's the kind of stuff that fans really love, because the origin of it is just so unbelievably wacky right off the top. Did Eric Bischoff have any idea where it was going? No, he's even admitted he had no clue what the wrap up was. It was just all about the punchline of the week kind of thing, the swerve of the week, and not have any idea where it goes. And that to me is the big thing, where for a story to feel like it really is going to go get home for somebody, you've got to make sure like we know where the arc for Tatsumi, the Serpent Mistress, is going. We know what the ultimate goal is. We know the things that we've kind of spaced out in the different issues and the certain like plot points we need to get to, the certain set pieces. And people can see that have seen our previous works, that we always know where we're going in a story. The path might change as we're on the path to get there, but the ultimate destination is going to be the same. And they can trust that they're not going to be throwing money at us to, or their own time on a story that is not going to go to a satisfying conclusion. It may not be the conclusion they want, but they know that we have taken our time to make sure that there's going to be a satisfying conclusion.
I'll ask it this way, because I think this is really interesting, right? As well, like I feel that because I've read books and I'm like, I just spent $20 for this and I don't feel satisfied, and I feel like I was taken advantage of, and I'm sure you felt that way as well. And we're not going to name names. When you back 100, 200 campaigns, there's going to be some of those just by nature. But like sometimes when I read a book, I'm like, I wasn't thrilled with this ending, but I wasn't disappointed with how it was delivered, right? I could say, I didn't think this character should have been killed off, but I understand. And like, I feel like if you're on Kickstarter, you owe me as a reader, or attempt at least, to give me a satisfactory ending, right? I don't know if that makes sense. And it might be.
No, I get you. I think you do. I think that you do owe, because I feel like.
I'm not trying to sound entitled. I'm not trying to sound.
I don't think you're trying to sound entitled at all. I just think that Kickstarter, more so than anything else, people are going to be paying a higher premium to get the product. They're going to be more invested in it because they know they have helped partner with you to make it happen. And I feel like you do owe it to them to not just be like, hey, I've got this concept, here's my issue 1, and then never come back to it. They're not paying for an issue 1. They're paying for a satisfying story across. You even have a great concept for an issue 1, but if it doesn't go anywhere, it's going to harm the quality of that issue 1, because they're going to be like, yeah, that thing started off great, but then it really fizzled. We've seen in wrestling a lot of debuts that look like somebody's going to be awesome, and then after that, just the way their storyline is constructed, you're like, man, yeah, that wasn't good. They did not handle that talent the way they needed to, or the storyline just didn't hit. And, you feel kind of like, yeah, that sucked. And we don't ever want somebody to look at what we're doing and have that same feeling. We want to feel like they're getting a fully completed story and they're just getting it piece by piece.
Because it's like, if I'm investing $80, $100, $120 into 6 issues, or $200 into 12 issues, like, and you don't give me that ending that is a satisfactory or even a complete ending. Let's say that the story arc is supposed to go up the hill and then we go down the hill into a valley, and it's supposed to be the rise and fall story. Like, there is a point where I just look at this and I'm like, I need a complete story. And like, I'm not trying to sound entitled, but like, if I'm giving you money to get your thing printed, help you fund it, help get out to the world, and then like, because I've read stories and I'm just like, I don't feel effort was there. And it sucks because, and I know it sounds weird as a reader, but like, I feel like I'm owed it, right? Especially so like, this is why I bring this up, because I think it is so important. And it's like, this isn't about, I'm not trying to make it about me, but I hate reading.
No, I don't think you are in any way. I think that you're just saying, as a consumer, as somebody who's going to be spending the time and the effort and the dollars on a project, that you want to make sure that it's money well invested and your time well invested. We only have a finite amount of time on this planet. We only have a certain amount of money, especially when you have bad bets like you talked about, that you've only got a certain amount of money that you can invest
in. I want to make it crystal clear. I want it all back on Saturday. Okay, I picked really well on Saturday, and I may or may not be creating a betting Substack because of the way I'm going. And I also want to make it crystal clear that I might have just won $250 on the Pistons. So I'm doing okay here, everybody. So I want to make that crystal clear. I might have a gambling issue, but you're damn right I don't have a gambling problem yet. I just want to make that crystal clear. I will let everybody know when I have a gambling problem. Okay. Anyway, continue, please.
Nah, so I mean, when it comes to the Tatsumi story, we're really proud of where it is. We're proud of the character development. There always ends up, especially when you're talking about battles and having to get forces together, there always ends up being a lot of characters, and there always ends up being. We want to make sure that if you've got tons of characters in there, that everybody gets at least some form of development. One of the things that we had to do with this issue. We talk about the Dark Conquestors and the Slurpers. We talk about the women of the Side Stalker, the pirate ship. And we're like, all of these Dark Conquestor women were introduced in I Am Keto. And people that are fans of Tatsumi the Serpent Mistress may not know who all they are. They may see them from time to time in a couple of the scenes. And that's why we created the Women of the Dark Conquestors limited edition foil trading card set. So we could go in and get a half a dozen of them, and we could reintroduce them to this crowd in a way that's fun to do it, so that they go, oh, okay, now I know wwho Alinden is. Now I know who Cordelia Davina is, and they get to see and understand those characters from the trading cards, because giving a history view of these characters in Tatsumi wouldn't make a whole lot of sense and would be kind of derivative. So we were like, let's just do it in the trading cards, so that way they can still get some exposure to these characters as well.
So that's so interesting. That's so interesting. So I don't even know how to ask that question. I find that so interesting to go outside of the comic and provide background information outside of a comic, because it's efficient. Like I don't know. I don't even have a question. I'm just saying it's efficient. I mean, I'm a trading card guy. For those who don't know, I'm really big into card collecting. I hunt down cards. I love it. It's like a sport for me. And I have a huge PSA vault, but different discussion for a different day. If anybody wants to know about it and wants to shoot shit about cards with me anytime, like 4 a.m, I'm your guy for that. I will wake up at 4 a.m to talk about cards with people. I'm not saying I just had a conversation with somebody who's pretty big into it, and is a sort of a celebrity. But anyway, not the point. But that's so interesting. It's so efficient. I don't even have a question. I'm just saying it's efficient.
Well, part of the reason why we like to do that, I mean, that's part of the whole metal music that ties in is like there's been times where there's been like in Tales from Nocturnia, there was a very minor side character that we're like, we have this interesting backstory for this character, but it would make no sense at all to put it into the Tales from Nocturnia series. So one of the songs on one of the albums is that whole character's entire backstory expanded out. So if somebody wants to, if they're the kind of person that wants to go, I need more of this, I need the deleted scenes, I need the extended scenes, that's kind of like where the lyrics are, that's kind of where like the trading card backs are. We always want to make sure there's more for people to dig into if they want to, but also make sure that if somebody just wants the story and the issue, that they're not going to be bogged down by genealogy and crap like that.
That's interesting too. I mean, this is another thing too. So, people like to throw the kitchen sink at everybody and just give everybody the whole thing. And there's something to be said about that. And there's a time and place for that. But there's also a point where, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I had a professor who taught me how to write short. So I was doing a study abroad in DC, and you have 4 pages, 1,000 words. Every word over 1,000, you get minus a point on your grade. I've never no, but you're writing for government, and the theory is that you're writing a brief for somebody in Congress on an issue, and they don't have time to read a 9-page white paper. And ultimately, what I figured out after the fact is that I could have wrote my whole thing in a bullet point, where I could have had a paragraph, bullet points of what they needed to know and what to ask, give them questions, and I probably would have saved myself hours. But I spent more time writing 1,000 words than I've spent writing my thesis, my senior thesis in college, because you're picking every word apart, and writing short and concise sucks. It is so difficult because every word matters.
I completely agree with you on that. I mean, with this series, yeah, that's how it is with Tatsumi, where for our other titles, we never gave ourselves any kind of word limit or page limit or anything like that. Is whatever number of pages needs to be there for this issue is what it's going to be. Heirs of Isildur, the Perilous Prospects, every issue was a perfect bound issue that was 44 to 56 pages. We said for Tatsumi, we were going to go do like everybody else and do single issues. 32 pages is the max for every Tatsumi issue. And we had to work with our artist and we had to work with ourselves and be like, okay, if we're going to make sure that this issue deals with the overall story arc, the overall story has to be progressed in here, but we also want to have some set pieces that are going to be fun and action oriented. How can we do all those things in this 32-page issue? And we had to limit ourselves in the script. We had to work with the artist who did stuff like Heirs of Isildur with us and be like, we can't have this scene go from 6 pages to 7 because we literally do not have room for another page in here. We have made up until the finale of this, which we might give ourselves a little more room. But for every other issue, 32 pages is the max. And that's for the whole issue, not 32 pages of story. It might be 29 pages of story in a 32-page issue. And we're like, we can't expand this scene from 6 to 7 because then we're going to be at 30 and we don't have room for that in here. We have other things we have to do. So it's kind of helped us to do exactly like you were saying, really make sure that everything that's in the book matters, whether it's to character development, whether it's to the overall story arc or to that scene, even the scene with the tavern in Tales from in Tatsumi 2, even though it's a fun tavern brawl where you get to include the Dread Crew of Oddwood, ultimately there are some story points that get moved forward just because of this thing that happens there in kind of unexpected ways.
Again, writing short is hard. That's all I'm gonna say. And I don't want to press too hard on it because unless you do it and unless you take the exercise and on anything, it's not just comics, by the way. It's just not just comics. And if you don't believe me, try taking a page and write a 9-panel story and see how hard that is. That is. I don't even want to attempt. To write a 9-page panel story. Not 9 pages, 9 panels. It's hard. You could do a lot of cool stuff though if you could pull it off. You're a really good writer if you could pull that off.
Oh yeah, when we did Misfits Clubhouse, everything in that one was 4 like short stories that was 4 to 12 pages, and you know you can only do so many. You can do one swerve or one plot twist, and that's it, and that has to be the wrap. You can't be like, we're going to introduce 12 characters in here and we're going to tell their backstories. Nope, that does not work.
But yeah, so obviously there's a lot of stuff going on, and then I want to show the covers because that's the fun stuff. Yeah,
absolutely.
Right? So this
I sent your messenger. I sent you that the trading cards as well, so you can take a look at that.
Oh yeah, I'll pull them up. But give me a sec. So that's cover 1 right there.
Yep, that's Serpent Whisperer from our main art team of Alessandro Ventura and Alan Emanuel. As you see, our main character Tatsumi has got herself into a little bit of a pickle there by being wrapped up in some snakes at the port of Alabasas, and we had fun concepting out this cover and why this cover exists. And we think once you read the issue, you're going to enjoy what this cover actually is symbolizing.
And then obviously this is cover B.
Yep. Cover B, this is the Women of the Side Stalker from our favorite sister duo, Chess and Gwyn, from out there in Steph's town of Visalia, California. They actually are the ones that did the main cover for Tatsumi 1. That's the purple cover that everybody really liked with Tatsumi with holding the blade, and they did the main cover for Kido. So we're making sure that we keep that same cover art team involved with as many things as we can as well. Really love the way that they put their anime manga spin on Tatsumi, Lydia Snake Arrow, and Marley Pendleton on that cover.
And then we got cover C here.
So that's the one that's Tavern Brawl with our crew of the Side Stalker on the right, and then you've got the Dread Crew of Oddwood the band on the left, and you can see Dag Nasty up in the top swinging her upright bass. I mean, whoever gets hit with that thing is not going to be having a good day. But we were really happy to be able to get Renan Shoddy back in the fold. He did our Heirs of Isildur versus Tales from Nocturnia vinyl record cover. And so to be able to get him back involved was great.
And then we got cover D here.
So that is our reverse foil. So instead of having foil with the logo in the middle, we're doing it where the logo is what's foil, and it's basically everything else is blacked out. We have some big plans for doing some fun foils like this over the course of the series. And normally we haven't been doing foils. We've been doing metal covers and other wild stuff, but we wanted to get back to having a foil cover here or there. And I'm not sure if you have it pulled up on that side or not, but we've been doing some wooden covers, and there's going to be, there you go. There's going to be wooden cover variations of the same thing, where it's going to be laser etched in the middle. It's going to be painted wood, and then laser etched the Soul Ripper emblem right down the middle.
So let me ask this, because I know metal covers, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like metal covers, from Zenoscope, a bunch of other companies do them. Got a bunch of them. Tidal Wave has done them. I have a few of those things. Love them. They're fun. Depending on it. Some Mount Olympus has done it. Depending on what it is, could be super cool. Certain covers are awesome in metal, just by nature. But I've never heard of a wooden cover. Is it like a metal that the book's attached to it, or?
Yeah. That's books attached to it. We do offer in our add-ons, if somebody's like, hey, I really think that wood's cool, I just want it loose, I don't want it on the book, they can get a copy of it then without it being attached to it. But yeah, it's exactly like a metal cover where it's attached to the issue. So somebody can literally be like, dude, this is my literal laser engraved wooden cover version of Tatsumi the Serpent Mistress. And by nature, because metal covers aren't cheap, wood covers same way, they're not cheap. So it's not like you're going to have 500 or 100 of that variant. I mean, you might have 10, you might have 5 of a specific wood variant, because you're going to pretty much do those to order. We'll get a couple additional here and there, but if you're somebody that really wants unique collectibles that are not going to be something everybody else is going to have, the wood covers are the way to go. We do have metal covers. A, B, and C on this campaign are also available in metal as well.
I just never heard of a wood cover before. So, I'm just saying that, like, I've never heard of a wood cover before. I didn't even know it existed. And I'm like, I think I would imagine it's like a metal cover to the same where the book's attached. But I'm like, it could be different. I don't know. Like what do I know? Like, I've never heard of a wood cover. So, like, what is that like though? Because I also haven't seen something like that on Kickstarter.
Let me see if I can reach one here. I might. Give me 1 second. Cover for me while I'm.
Yeah. So I just find it so fascinating. I find it so fascinating, and it's just so mind blowing to me. On that, I was just curious. That's all. In which that I'm just curious about all this stuff because I like stuff. But we could show something of one of my favorite things, which is this right here by my friend Doug Hills, and it's Steiner math. Because when in doubt, use Steiner math. Because I have a 1 in 44 and 2/3 chance of beating at Sacrifice. I just want to make that crystal clear. So if Kurt Angle wants to show up at Sacrifice, I will have Steiner math on my side.
All right. So before I went and threw my tablet on the desk, I was reaching over to my side because I have like an inventory wall over here of all of our books. I've got some wooden covers over here so you can take a look. So here is Heirs of Isildur, The Perilous Prospects, the finale, laser engraved wood. And then I've got one of each one of the original for Tatsumi 1. There's the black cover. And then here's the red one.
Oh, that's cool.
And then the original wood engraved without any paint on there. It's just the wood cover.
No, again, yeah. I was just curious because it's trippy. And what is that like though? Because this is where comics gets interesting, right? It's when you start doing stuff like spot foils or in bolses or in glosses, or you do UV covers, right? I mean, I have a comic that you get a torch with it, and the whole book, you can read it straight in the daylight, and then you could turn the lights off and you take out your torch, right? Your UV torch, and then you could read the book, and stuff is not in
It's a different story with it being in the UV. That's awesome.
It's I mean, it was an expensive book because it was an NFT project comic.
Okay.
Super cool concept, right? Definitely did not end the way I wanted it to. That whole thing, my wallet got hacked, but we don't have to talk about that. But the book, the book's awesome. It's one of the
I think that especially with the Kickstarter market, people want to be able to feel like they can get things they're not going to get in other places, and that's why we're always looking for really cool things to do. I can tell you when we get to issue 3, we don't have any new leatherwork from GB Leatherworks in issue 2. We had some in issue 1. They had pirate hats designed for us and all kinds of fun stuff. Didn't do any for issue 2 because we already know what we're going to do for issue 3. And what we have set up for issue 3 is you're going to see issue 3. You're going to be like, I never heard of somebody doing something ridiculous like that for a Kickstarter campaign because of the leatherwork we have. We didn't want to go, like you said, to throw the entire kitchen sink at every campaign, but it also organically makes sense to be in issue 3. The things we have planned for issue 3 would not have made sense to have in issue 2. So yeah, we've already got some just.
It's because you're bringing up something that's really interesting, right? Is that you got to get creative. And I mean, I'm a card collector, right? And so what's going on in cards is that, they're putting pieces of a mat into a card. They're putting a shirt into a card. They're putting socks into a card. Maybe a guy like this, his sock is in a card. Yeah, I may or may not have that card, but like I do. It's a limited 5. It's an awesome card. John Cena's sock on Monday Night Raw. Super sick, right? So I can technically take the sock and part of it, and once cloning happens, I can make myself a John Cena clone. It's terrible. Super cool card. But the point is that going back to comics and cards, because I think they're similar in this vein, is that you got to get creative.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, I mean, I don't know how you feel, but I'll just state it, is I'm going to get bored, right?
Yeah, and I think too that one of the things that I think in general, there's times when you see people kind of fall into a rut. And what I mean by that is people are like, I see person over there that's doing something, or it's easier for me to produce this specific type of thing. So all I have to do, I could just throw whatever crap out there as long as it's, let's say, a shirt. Oh, I'm going to do a shirt. And, because this person over here is selling shirts on their campaign. If you don't make that shirt be badass in the way that it's designed, you have to ask yourself, what about this shirt is going to make somebody go, you know what, I need to buy this shirt from this person rather than this other cooler shirt from another person. Yeah, exactly. Look at that shirt you're wearing. So it's like, even if it's a logo shirt, even if it's, this is a glow in the dark shirt we did for Heirs of Isildur. We sold a bunch of these because people love the fact that the shirt glows in the dark, and it's a cool symbol and all that. You have to say, am I producing something in this collectible that's going to be able to stand alongside the other stuff? If you're like, hey, there's 11 people out there that are doing this specific type of collectible, and you've got, the 11th best out of 11, you can't expect that somebody's going to just go and add that thing just because you do it. Make it something that they can't live without and they want to have in their collection, and then maybe they're going to add it.
You're bringing up a good point. And then the other stuff, and I'm curious how you feel about this, is that, so I sell a lot of base cards and a lot of base comics. And this discussion happens among sellers. And what we're talking about a lot, because I sell a lot on eBay, is that you need to have good title listing, good pictures, and competitive pricing. And I think that's the other thing, too, that is really important right now in comics, is that you need to be really good with your images, your visuals. You need to have really good titles. And you know what is, I think you do have to be competitive with pricing, in which you need to have strong competitive pricing, where you can't, I don't think you can charge $25 for a cover A anymore. And I think it's really hard to sell a lot of those. And I don't really care who you are. I think it's really hard to demand that money. I mean, you got to be the best of the best of the best. And you got to have Agent K with you on that one. I'm sorry.
No, dude, I agree with you, man. I one of the things that I see happen the most, and whenever I have a chance to speak on it, I will stand on my soapbox that people need to be very careful, especially on Kickstarter, when it comes to the pricing on their digital tiers, because if you go too low, you're going to make it where, hey, you're going to sell your thing for $2. How many people are you going to have to get as a $2 backer before you have them make any impact? If you're a new creator and you're going to sell your digital tier for $2, you'd have to get 500 backers just to get to $1,000. And that's nobody that is entry level is getting 500 backers. Let's be real. You're not getting 500 off of a new thing. But then at the same rate, you need to not overcharge on that too, because that entry level digital tier is going to be the gateway for somebody to take a chance on your title. And if you price that, I know I do it as well. First thing I do when I go to a campaign, the very first thing I see is what is the most inexpensive way that I can become a part of this campaign. And if I look at the very first tier and it's somebody selling their 24-page comic for $15 as a PDF on their first tier, I'm very probably not going to back that campaign, or I might just throw a couple bucks at them, reward, pledge without reward. But most people are going to see that and be like, nope, I'm going to move on to Andrew Mecca Davis's campaign that is selling the book for $5 or $6, because they could go and support 3 different people for the price of that one. And then I think people are more so going to go, why does this person overvalue their digital comic at that point? And
I think so I have challenges on that, and I have a few challenges that I'm curious.
Sure.
I think it depends on how big it is. So if you have a digital graphic novel, I think if you're charging $12 for a digital graphic novel and it's 120 pages, I think that's pretty reasonable.
And I completely agree with that. Agree.
So I think if you're charging 15, I could see 15. I think it's a little high at 15, but I still think it's pretty reasonable, because I understand you're giving me a lot of content, and I understand that it's a whole project. But if you're charging me 20 for a digital graphic novel, I'd rather just buy the thing and print for 25. And
I agree with you. So we're on the same page there. I mean, that's if you're talking about a graphic novel, if you're talking about 50 pages versus 60 pages versus 100, totally get you. If you're talking about an entry level first issue that's 24, 32 pages, that's when they need to be really careful. But one of the things, I think there's things you can do that are creative, like when we did the Misfits Clubhouse trade, 100-page trade, and we had the PDF for $10. Because Misfits Clubhouse is an all ages title, we knew that even a $10 PDF was going to deter certain people. So we put a $5 sampler of Misfits Clubhouse out there. So instead of all 11 stories, you got 3 of the stories in a sampler issue. So that way somebody could, like, if they're a creator, like, look, I really want to support this thing, but I don't want to support it for $10 on a PDF. They could go and support it for $5. They get a little something from it, but not the whole issue. I just think people need to be really, really careful there, because you want to find a way to build your fan base up, and you want to find a way for people to take a chance on what you're doing. And if you don't give them an easy way to become a part of what you're doing, they're going to move on to the other 300 campaigns that are out there on Kickstarter at the same time and find that next campaign that wants them to come in.
It's the reason why that I'm on Facebook and I'm on YouTube, and this show is accessible, right? It's pretty accessible, right? I mean, to view it. It's because and there's a reason why I'm primarily focused on YouTube, because YouTube, I think, is the most accessible platform on the planet as far as consuming content. The only other one is Twitch. So it's Twitch and YouTube, right? And I'm not going to be on Twitch. Twitch doesn't work for me. It just doesn't. But it's Twitch is just too complicated. It's more video game based. It's not more podcast based. But YouTube is really accessible. It's free, and it's the easiest entry point. As long as you have internet, you can access it.
I agree with you wholeheartedly on that.
If you're over 18, because you have to be over 18 to view it, just because I have a variety of guests, and I don't want a 13-year-old, going to his mother and saying, I heard the F word today. And like, I don't want that. Like, I really don't. But all jokes aside, the other thing I'm going to challenge, though, that I think is also relevant is that, or maybe not a challenge, but I'm curious what you think, is I think if you also have to realize that if you put your PDF at $5, you now can update all the time. So if you have 3 or 4 comics in the works, every time that backer is going to get an update. And so it's a built-in marketing campaign. I think that's an undervalued component of Kickstarter. I'm not saying you should put it for $2, but I think if you put it for $4 and you're using it as a marketing tool, especially for an issue 1, because if you go into it saying, I'm not going to make money on issue 1, but I want to make money on issue 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the graphic novel, and you're building up your fan base, and you now have the marketing component of it, I think there is some value in that too that is underappreciated on digital, because you can update that backer. And let's say you have 4 or 5 books coming out in the next 6 years or 3 different titles you're working on. You can update on that for those other titles. And now if you have 50 backers for campaign 1, those 50 backers, maybe half of them come for another book you're doing. And then when you come back to issue 2, maybe those 25 or 30 or 50 come back and another 25 come in. And so I think that's the other thing too, that people say, because it's a digital, you're not printing it. I'm not saying it doesn't cost you money to make it, because it does, but you're not losing money by giving a digital for $4 out.
Yeah, it's definitely a market that you have to be very strategic in how you approach it. And I think that's definitely where you have to make sure that you price it right no matter what. And if you use your strategy, as long as there's a strategy, as long as your strategy isn't, if I think 2 strategies I would, for my personal opinion, are incorrect strategies, which is I need to make sure it's the lowest price thing, because if it's low price, then maybe somebody's going to buy it. They're going to buy it if it's $2, they're not going to buy it if it's $4. Well, Starbucks doesn't give a crap about that. They're going to sell you a $7 coffee because that's what they have to do. Wendy's doesn't care about that. They're going to make their freaking hamburger value meal $16 now. You have money you have to make. Because like you said, it doesn't cost you anything to make a digital. There's no printing behind it, but it costs you the same amount to make the digital from paying your artist and paying your letterer and paying your editor, so that you still need that to be able to cover those costs. So you have to think about that as well.
The point I'm making is that so on eBay, I pay 13%, for those who don't know. That is customer acquisition costs, credit card fees, and open to global markets, as well as open to global shipping, because I can ship all over the world, and I ship to Kentucky, and they handle the international shipping. And I would say about 20% of my customers are international, so I don't have to deal with that. I'll pay 13% all day for that, because it expands my audience, and it's worth a lot of money because it solves a headache for me. I'm a global entity. So I've shipped all over the world. It's crazy. 6 months ago, I shipped to the United Emirates. I don't know how many people can say they've shipped, things to the United Emirates. It's pretty cool, if you ask me. Apparently the kid's a big UFC fan. Did not know that. Super cool. Super cool. He bought a woman fighter too, which I'm not too sure how that in that country, how that is viewed, but we don't have to tell him. But that's a terrible thing. That's a terrible thing to say. But the idea is that I view it as marketing, right? And I think so. Like that's my whole thing, is that I'm not saying everybody's got to price their stuff accordingly. I'm not saying you should give your digital for free. What I'm saying is that I think there's value in that, and I think those updates can be very efficient, because you have a way to directly communicate to your buyers on everything, and that is so valuable, in my opinion. And people can disagree, but I just think it's valuable, because
one of the things that we've done is we have our InSim sampler, and it's got basically an ash can size version of all of our titles that go in there, and that's what we update. And we'll give that away to anybody that wants it. We'll allow anybody that wants to put it as a stretch goal incentive in their campaign. If they want to have it in there, they can use it there as well. And that's what we do on that note. So if like, we had a 2024 version, we've now got a 2025, 2026 version. So there's a little bit different content each time. There's QR codes to, you want to go to the Tatsumi store that we have. Here's the Tatsumi store. You want to go to the Tales from Nocturnia store. Here's a QR code. It's going to take you directly to that tab, whatever it might be. But then you've got your ashcan versions of each title, so somebody can get a little bit of Tatsumi, a little bit of Airs, whatever it might be, and see what kind of floats their boat at that point. So that's how we handle what you're saying right there about the marketing on that.
No, it makes sense. I like samplers. I love samplers because I want to know what the hell I'm going to buy. Like I love samplers. I love just getting a piece of it. I love digital samplers. I appreciate, stretch goals from other people, especially digital ones. Those are great. But again, I also don't know what I like now. I mean, I've been reading comics forever, and what I like is not the same that everybody else likes. I'm on an isekai kick right now. So any book that's an isekai oriented, it's like perfect for me. I just love when a character is transported to a different world and then they become a badass in that world and their life is miserable in the old world. And then they're like the most deadliest person. And it's just like, guys, I just want to lay on the beach. Like, they just leave me alone. I don't want to save the kingdom. Like, I really just want to lay on the beach.
Now you sound like somebody that would really be into this Tatsumi arc too, man. I'm telling you, what you're saying, that's what this is. I'd love for you to be able to take a look at it, man. It's right up your alley. It sounds like it's going to be up your alley for sure.
I might back it. I might back it for the trading cards because I'm a big trading card guy. I might just have.
Oh yeah. We're only doing 100 sets of those as well. So once those 100 foil sets are gone, they're gone.
I'm a big trading card guy. I spent a lot of money on this, and that's worse than my gambling problem. So, Cards Anonymous. I don't know if it exists, but I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does.
You might have to start it.
I would not be the first one. And it'd be $1 billion business right there. Like we just hosted billions of dollars. Imagine me convincing insurance companies to help pay for it. Oh my God, what a day that would be. And then,
amazing.
Further, you know how like the tobacco companies have to do like help people quit. I would have to make all the card companies on a like legal wise contribute to the fund to support and help people get off. It would be the craziest circumstance. It would be just no. I love Topps. I have a good relationship with Topps. Topps has treated me well. I want to make that crystal clear. Panini has treated me well, and a few other card companies have always treated me well. No, I'm not going to go do that. If anything, we will increase the addiction. But I want to change the topic into something else because I am curious. Before I ask you some wrestling stuff, because I know you're a wrestling fan like I am. But I am curious how you feel the industry has changed in comics, because I could tell you that 2024 was one year. 2025 was a very different year for me and a lot of other people, and just as a consumer. And this year has been weird. And we're 6 weeks in. And I could tell you from a business standpoint, I have had about 6 big sales in comics 6 weeks in that were not existing in 2025. And I don't know if that's just people have money because they just wanted the books. Could have been the books. I sold an Ultimate Fallout 4, that it could be that. And I sold a book that's similar to that. Or it could be something else completely. And I'm just curious what you think, because
I think that all the turmoil in 2025 in the comic industry with Diamond and all that really had a lot of people very hesitant. I think that the economy, which it really started end of 2022, beginning of 2023, once we got past the golden age of Kickstarter, which I say is 2020 through 2022. Once we, got past stimulus money and everybody's money started running out and the economy started to really tank, I think that a lot of people got very, very careful. I think that ran through a lot of 2025. I feel like, and from what the feedback is that I've heard from other people, it's not like, we're back to, golden era campaign sizes or anything like that, but it sounds like it's feeling like it's starting to take a little bit of an upturn as far as that goes, because I guess it's like it can't get any worse than it was, because 2025 was a brutal year. 2024 was a brutal year. And I think that we're seeing people that are being more creative, finding ways to spin their ways forward from that point. Is it going to stay? Will it continue to build? Don't really have a clue on that because we're only 6 weeks in, but it does look like there might be a little bit of promising light at the end of the tunnel. It might only be a candle, but who knows?
I could tell you what I think, right? So 2024 was a great year for me on eBay. It was awesome. And it was all because of one woman and one woman alone, and her name is Caitlin Clark.
Okay, I can see that. Yep.
When she plays, I sell a lot of WNBA cards. They go up by 40 to 50% in sales. Her alone increases sales by 50%. It's insane. She played 16 games, and those sales went down by 40%, which played a part in my bottom line. Now, there was other things that also happened that she's not solely responsible for me having a rough year on eBay, but she definitely didn't help. And I agree with the economy, because my view is that there was uncertainty in 2025. There's a lot of uncertainty that happened. And then what I think happened now, and what I think that I don't know if the economy is getting better or worse, or if it's staying stagnant, and we got to wait. But I find in the last 6 weeks, there's more clarity coming into 2026.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's more clarity. People are like, it can't get any worse than it is. So now I know what I have to work with.
I now know what to expect, right? And I have an idea what to expect. Therefore, I can plan more accordingly. And as a result of that, I know this diamond thing where nobody's getting money from diamond.
I know not with them being Chapter 7 now.
So I'm not a bankruptcy attorney. I don't know. Chapter 11 is a restructure. Chapter 7 is complete liquidation, right?
Yep. Chapter 7 is pretty much insolvency.
Okay. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know this. This is not my area of expertise by any stretch of the imagination. And I don't want to missteer anybody with any misinformation. So, great. We got that solved. I just wanted to make sure. But again, nobody's getting any money, so everybody's adjusting to that. And there's going to be the adjustment's going to probably happen for the next year and a half anyway, because the whole thing's a mess. But there's more clarity. That's how I view it, where I now know what to expect for the next year or 2 or 3. I have my own theories on the economy, and I believe the answer is Bitcoin. So crypto bros, guys, that's what we're doing.
Crypto bros, huh?
Put all your money in Bitcoin and gold, and you'll be fine.
Guess we need to come up with a way to make a gold covered coin, a gold covered cover. Gold covered cover.
You should just dip it in gold, just like 24 karat gold. I've got a 24 karat vat in my kitchen. No big deal, man. I gotcha. Just dip it in, just like, oh, it'd be great.
Well, I'll work on that. I'll let you know how that goes.
Crazy, like you sell a cover like I don't know how much gold it would take, like a gold cover, just 24 karat gold. So instead of it's just a sheet of gold that's attached to it.
I think that would probably cost a lot of money.
I didn't say you should just put it on the campaign for number when they find the treasure. That should be like the ultimate one. And
yeah, it won't be gold plated. It might be gold painted. How about that?
Should do it it'd be so good. It'd be so smart. Anyway, not the point here. Not the point. But I was just curious because again, I am looking at it from a different angle than everybody else is, because I'm looking at it from my business and I sell these products, and you're a creator and I'm a consumer. So I was just curious about that, but I'm not going to push too hard on that because I do want to talk about wrestling. So I'm a big Liv Morgan fan. I'm very happy about that. I have some very cool Liv Morgan cards that I enjoy. I just bought a autographed Liv Morgan card for $70, PSA 9, I think. It's in my vault. It's not for sale. Don't ask. I just bought a Cactus Jack teal Liv Morgan card, $175. So I am a big Liv Morgan fan. I'm very happy that you won. It's about damn time. You only live once. So I'm but I don't know. Like I thought the Alexa Bliss Charlotte Flair thing was fun. I don't know if that was a mishap or whatever that was.
Man, I'm telling you what, that I feel like I would not be surprised if that was a botch and they're just having to write it into the storyline, because it really felt like that it was a botch. Because just if you look at the looks on their faces, if you look at the angle of the way that Charlotte kicked, Charlotte did not make any contact with Alexa in that exchange. So yeah, it was. I feel like they covered up a botch pretty well. That's how I think.
I don't know, but I'm also not the person to ask, because me and my friends were watching it while getting hammered. So
well, I've actually gone back and watched the replays and studied it a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, I think that it might have been a botch. Now, I will say, I said from the get-go, I'm like, I predict Sol Ruca is going to be in the final 3. I don't think she's going to win it, but I think she's going to be in the final 3. She's going to have a great showing, because I feel like 2 years from now, if you look at who are the people at the top of their respective divisions, I think that Sol Ruca and Obafemi are both going to be at the tops. They're going to be people that are in the main event conversations. They're going to be in the main event conversations for specific pay-per-views. Like the top women's match is going to have Sol Ruca in there. The top men's match is going to have Obafemi. I think Obafemi could be within a year. Sol Ruca could be within 2 years, but I think that those are the two that have got the most upside on the current roster's overall period right now.
That's interesting. I mean, again. I mean, I don't know if you saw John Cena's interview with Joe Rogan.
I may have seen clips of it.
I've been on this theory for a while, and he said it, where I view WWE as a Major League Baseball team in a farm system. And he kind of said it was that, where you have to go through almost 500 wrestlers to find the top 15 or 20. And this sounds mean. It sounds fucked up is what it sounds like, right? And I know a lot of wrestlers who get tryouts. I've had Alec Price on. I've had Anthony Green on. Josh Briggs has been on my show. A lot of people that have wrestled Open Beyond, and a bunch of them have come in and out of WWE. And within a year, they're gone. And it's not that it's not mean. It's not that they're not talented. Anthony Green is one of the smartest people in wrestling, undeniably. And Alec Price had a tryout with WWE, and he signed with AEW. And then you have people who say, look, I'm making bank on the indies. Why the hell would I want to come here? I'm making $500,000 a year on the indies. Why the fuck do I want to go to WWE? And, that's what it is. And so, like, they just cycle through people, and we don't see at least 40 to 50% of them. And you're just looking at them. And it's like, I mean, it's a crazy position. So the fact that Sol Ruca and Obafemi have survived, the fact that Trick Williams has survived, I mean,
Trick Williams is really with the Trick Willie, Lemon Pepper Steppers. He's done a really good job of developing his character, making himself into somebody that's going to be able to rise to that next level.
I mean, Carmelo Hayes. Is it Carmelo Hayes? Right.
Yeah.
He's great. He was Christian Casanova on the Indies. Oh my God. That's like the one I wish I could have got him back on an interview, because oh my God, he was killing it on the Indies, killing it. But like there are people where you just don't see them, and it's wild. And like, but like, I mean, that's what John Cena was saying, and I mean, it's wild to think that NXT farms every year 250 to like 350, 450, 500 people, and what is it, like every 90 days to just cut people? It's insane. Yep. It's insane. I mean, I can't even imagine. I can't imagine.
I think one of the most pivotal moments in wrestling recently, and this is something that I don't think a lot of people really realize how important it was AEW's acquisition of Ring of Honor. Because with AEW doing the Forbidden Door stuff, where they had other promotions that they were working with, WWE, their business plan used to be, we don't even acknowledge that other promotions even exist. We would never do something with another promotion outside of their late 90s working partnership with AAA. But AEW doing that, and then AEW working with CMLL, and which that kind of made WWE, behooved them to go and acquisition and purchase AAA. made them have a working relationship with TNA. I feel like that helps there to be so much more exposure on the WWE side. You've got, WWE wrestlers that are becoming huge in AAA. You've got AAA wrestlers showing up on WWE programming. Same thing with TNA. I think the most fascinating thing right now with the whole partnerships is how you could have the same character. You could have the OG El Grande Americano and the imposter El Grande Americano in the US. One of them is a face, one of them is a heel. You go to AAA and it's the complete opposite. And the one that's a face in the US is getting booed out of the stadium in AAA. I'm like, that is fascinating the way that dichotomy is with those guys. But it just shows that, if they only existed in the WWE domestic universe, you would miss out on, Ludwig Kaiser's El Grande Americano getting a chance to be a face and headlining cards down there. I mean, that's freaking amazing.
It is. And again, I mean, I think the AAA accusation was crazy. I think when they bought Evolve, that was fascinating, right? I mean, I think it's, not really spoken about. I think the fact that, but I do think the AAA thing, in which I think the Ring of Honor position that AEW did probably really forced WWE to evolve in a lot of ways.
Yes,
and
agreed.
I also think what happens that TKO was Endeavor, right? Endeavor owned 61%, and then Endeavor was taken private by Silver Lake. That also changed the game a lot too, where WWE was taken, where it became TKO. And I think that the thing that also changed the game was that because UFC is a company with WWE under TKO, it gives them a lot of media rights, buying power.
Yes.
And I think that's the other thing that people forget is that when they were taken private into TKO, it was a $21 billion company. It's valued at about 39 to 42 billion, depending on the day of trading. That's a big difference when it was taken on an asset value. And what people also forget is that WWE was valued at a higher valuation than UFC,
which is insane.
It's so I forget what it is that the Lakers were just sold for 10 billion. WWE has a higher valuation than the Lakers.
I can understand that because the Lakers are a single team in a single market that plays other markets. I can understand that because you've got WWE is going to multiple markets all 52 weeks a year. 4 times a week they're going to 52 different markets.
But I mean, the Lakers are the most expensive team that was sold. But average wise, an NFL team is anywhere from 2 to 4.5 billion. And we're talking about football, which is massively national. Every game is a national game. Just because you don't get it nationally doesn't mean it's not a national thing. But it's just wild to think that. And then the other thing that WWE did is that they locked down Canada. People, they did that where I forget the center. I think it's in Toronto, and they locked that thing down, which was a block to AEW. And so it's really interesting. And then the Netflix deal is crazy, and then the ESPN deal is even wilder.
Yeah, I can tell you that honestly, those are the two things as a fan. Hate the Netflix deal. I hate having to watch Raw on Netflix, and what they did with the pay-per-views go to ESPN and making it such a convoluted mess, I think was a really big misstep. I mean, from a financial standpoint, maybe, but from a customer satisfaction standpoint, I think it was a really bad.
I agree with you on the ESPN. I don't have a problem with the Netflix position because I was getting Netflix anyway. So the Netflix position didn't change anything for me. It just put Monday Night Raw on Netflix. Like for
the
me,
the only thing I don't like about Netflix or Raw on Netflix is that when they moved it there, it was like immediately we have to turn Raw into a boxing card where it's like we're going to have one match and then 30 minutes of talking, and then one match and 30 minutes of talking. You've got a 3-hour show with 5 matches. That was the biggest frustration when it moved. And think about the first 6 months of Raw on Netflix was look at all these celebrities in the stands. I'm like, listen, I do not give a crap about a freaking celebrity sitting in the stands watching. I want the people that are the wrestlers and the talent that's on that show. Let them be the stars. I don't give a crap if some country music singer is listening. Who cares?
So I don't have a problem with a celebrity if it makes sense, right? So when Jalen Brunson is in Madison Square Garden with Tyrese
Yeah.
Howard and he's grabbing a chair, I love that on SmackDown. I love that, right?
Oh yeah.
That was great. When Cam Scadaboo and Abdul Carter are in the Garden and they're like getting into a fight with Dominic Mysterio, and Dominic Mysterio is saying like the New York Giants suck, or he's like faking making fun of Cam Scadaboo for getting hurt. Great, right? Love it when it makes sense. But I don't really care that Danielle Fishel is watching wrestling. Nothing against
Exactly.
Topanga, but like I love Topanga as much as everybody else loves Topanga. But like, okay, like I don't really care. Like
Yeah,
it does.
I don't need 15 minutes of my broadcast cumulatively taken up by look who's sitting in the audience. I don't need that. That's a waste.
But like the Cam Scadaboo stuff was great when Jalen Brunson's grabbing a steel chair, he wants to beat the shit out of Tyree Halliburton. Oh, it's great. Like I love that, like because it makes sense, right? But like when it doesn't make sense, or like when Dan Hurley and R-Truth and the Miz wanted to challenge the whole UConn men's basketball team in a tag team match, hilarious. And
Yeah,
then
stuff like that is great. Stuff like that I don't mind because it becomes a part of the actual show. When it's just 15 minutes of somebody sitting in the crowd watching, okay, whatever.
but I did like the Stranger Things episode, but for a different reason.
Why'd you like it? Because I hated the Stranger Things episode. Tell me why you liked it.
Because Topps made short print variations of those cards, and I have a Becky Lynch one, and they're awesome. And people offered to pay me a lot of money for it, and I'm like, no, thank you.
Okay, I can roll with that. I didn't like it because I felt like if you're going to have a Stranger Things episode, at least have one or two of the freaking actors. I don't care if it's a D list. I don't care if it's somebody who's in one freaking scene. Have somebody from Stranger Things at the show. Don't just have it where you've got your set dressed up as it. That was the thing. I was like, come on, man, you got to do something more than this.
It's such a cool card. And they're so awesome, and everybody wants them because everybody loves Stranger Things, and they're probably in the top 20 hottest WWE cards of the year, which is insane. And as a card collector, and I enjoy Stranger Things, it's just like perfect. I love Becky Lynch, so I'm just like, yes, finally. Yeah. So, and then I got a limited 5 parallel on that too, but not the point. But good pull for $100 is my point. But I am curious where I don't think Liv is going after Jade Cargill. I don't think that's a good matchup. I think it's going to be Liv, Stephanie Vauquer. And I don't really know what's going to happen. I don't know. I think Liv's going to get the push. I think she's going to go over at Mania. I don't know if it's the right move.
Yeah. But I think it's hard to say because the story is just in such flux right now. I don't really have any clue where anything is going right now, nor do I know. I'm not really sure if they're in a weird spot where there's not a lot of storylines I really care about right now. I care more about seeing how they're going to elevate certain talent. What's the story they're going to put around an Obafemi or a Powerhouse Hobbs or different things like that. Those are things I'm really interested to see what they're going to do. How are they going to bring Chris Jericho in? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
If he comes back and he doesn't have the list, I'm going to be pissed.
Oh my God. He doesn't have the list. Oh, it'd be great. Oh, I love Chris Jericho. It's going to be so interesting what happens. I mean, the AJ Styles thing, I didn't really get it. I thought it was, I would have rather had that match at WrestleMania.
I feel like they're doing it because AJ's he's done with WWE, but he's got to have a run in TNA.
But the thing is that he was in Stanford and he's doing all this like filming of stuff and all these projects and all this media stuff for them and for like their library. So I don't think he's done with WWE at all.
No, not at all.
Wrestling.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So, like, I don't think he's leaving on bad terms as a wrestler. Is my point.
No, not at all. I think he just knew it was time. I think he'll be back. I feel like he's going to have more matches. That's why he didn't leave his gloves in the ring.
It's whatever. I don't really know, but I don't even know what's going to happen. So Roman Reigns is going after CM Punk, right? We know that, right?
They actually did cut a pretty fire promo this past Monday.
But that was set up from Survivor Series, right?
Yeah.
So I mean but I don't really care about that match. And then who's going after Drew McIntyre, because are we going to get Cody, Drew McIntyre, Jacob Fatu? But even that's like a mess, right?
Yeah, that's I don't know. I don't. They better figure it out quick because they got Elimination Chamber before. They got to figure it out quick to make it where it's something I even care about.
It's whatever. And then who's going after Jade Cargill? Because I would love to see Jordan Grace versus Jade Cargill. I think that'd be fascinating. But I don't think there's enough power for Jordan Grace. I think Jordan Grace should get a U.S. title run or an intercontinental title run first.
Yeah, she absolutely needs that first.
Because she is so good, and her on the Indies just I've been watching her for like 10 years, and just she's so good. But like I don't know what we do with the women's title and Jade Cargill, because it's like Jade Cargill's like, I'm that bitch, and I just like, I don't believe you. Like, I don't believe you. Like,
yeah, she defend her title for us to care.
I care less about her title. Every time she's on, I just go to the bathroom. It's like terrible. She makes me like legitly go and say it's a bathroom break. Like,
and the thing is, I really love the aura of Jade Cargill, but she needs to be fighting people. She can't just be backstage talking. She's got to actually have a couple of wins under her belt.
I don't know. WrestleMania is going to be. I don't think it's going to be bad. I think it's going to be average. I think next year is going to be horrific, right? And I think it's going to be horrific for two reasons. First off, I don't think they're going to have any goddamn freaking good story, and they're going to be in Saudi Arabia. And as much as I like to be in Saudi Arabia, you're so limited.
I do not like it. I do not like that being over there. I just feel like it limits what can be done. I'm not a fan. Not a fan. Not a fan for a major pay-per-view. If it's one of those middle of the WWE in your house level pay-per-views, then that's fine. But not one of the big four.
So I wouldn't mind if they did Money in the Bank in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I could see them do that. Yeah, I could do that. I could see that.
Money in the Bank would be fun. Night of Champions would be fun. Crown Jewel is awesome in Saudi Arabia. Clash and Riyadh. Let's just do Clash and Riyadh, right? Why not? Yep. Right? I think it'd be great, right? No problem with that. You know what is? If every 3 years we do Survivor Series in Saudi Arabia, fine. I'll eat the fat on it, but not Mania. I'm fine.
Not Mania, not Royal Rumble. Those are the two that need to not have that happen.
SummerSlam could be interesting in Saudi Arabia. I'm not saying we should do it, but again, I understand why they're doing it, right? And I'm not anti it. But I wasn't a fan of the Royal. I didn't hate the Royal Rumble, but I didn't love it. I thought it was okay.
I felt like it could have been better if it was a domestic show. I felt like, I'm not a fan of the women having to wear the Power Ranger outfits, even though some of them did purposely do that. They did purposely design their outfits based on Power Rangers. Not a fan of that whole shenanigans there. But
see, you and me differ on this, right? I believe the men should also have to wear Power Ranger uniforms. See, if WWE did that, that would have been brilliant on so many levels. See, I'm an equal offender, right? I've made this statement about the volleyball team in the Olympics, where if the women have to wear somewhat skimpy outfits to play volleyball, I believe the men should have to wear Speedos.
You know what? I think that you're. I can get behind. Not that I want that, but I can get behind a logic that says equal opportunity in that respect. I can roll with that.
I believe we should enforce it, and we should start with the Olympics and test the market first.
I think you can be the person that has to go out there and do the enforcement of this. He could go measure the Speedos, make sure they're the right size, all that.
Absolutely. I will lead by example. I am more than happy to lead by example, because that's what a true leader does. Just you know what it is? Look at Drake May. He took full responsibility for the loss of the game. And I believe that we should clap, and I believe somebody should buy him a beer. He's of age, right? I think he's of age, right? I don't want to.
Yeah, pretty sure.
I don't know. He's in his sophomore year. He cannot be of age. He could technically not be 21. And if he's not, well, we'll just. You didn't hear from me. But we have to give credit, because if somebody takes responsibility, you know what? Accountability is a big thing. And if he takes responsibility saying, I had the ball, you know what it is? But you know what? I'm not, in his defense, he did a hell of a job, right?
Well, his left tackle gave up 14 quarterback pressures in the game. 14 quarterback pressures on one player. I'm like, my goodness, that's brutal.
But you know what it is? I think they'll be back there, and I'm not a fan of the Patriots, but I give credit to where credit is due, right? But I believe the men should have to wear Power Ranger suits too. You know what it is? I am all for it, and because I think it would have been amazing, and I think it would have been a snub. And I think
if you want to go up to Obafemi and tell him he must wear a Power Ranger suit, more power to you. I'm glad that this is the last conversation we're ever going to have ever after he squashes you. But
watch this. He's going to be like, you mean I could wear a Power Ranger suit in Saudi Arabia? I'm in, dude. Watch, he's going to be like, let's do it. Like, he's just going to go like, I guess he's going to be like, this could be done? Like, yeah, I can just imagine him doing it.
You think you can tell the ruler what to do?
Well, I do sign your paycheck. So this WWE Championship contract looks really good, you know?
Yep.
But I digress right there. I believe he would make an excellent Power Ranger, and I believe he would be a Power Ranger for all of us. I am all for that. Next WrestleMania, him as a Power Ranger winning the WWE title would be fantastic.
If that's what you want. Fantasy book that.
Hey, look. Travis Kelce screwed me too, so it's all right. He was supposed to win last year, and I had a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of money, but I would have won like $2,000 if he won and proposed to Taylor Swift.
That's a lot of money.
What?
That's a lot of money.
It would cost me like I had $50 on it for a $2,000 on my bookie. That's a good bet to take, right? I mean,
yeah.
Oh my
$50 on 2,000? Heck yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's such a bad idea, that bet, right? I mean, I think I get an A+ for the thought. Just because it didn't work doesn't mean it was the wrong call.
No, I agree with you on that.
Unlike the Suns on Thursday night, which, by the way, the Pistons did win, so we're good on that. Thank God the Pistons won. Oh my God. But anyway, So is WrestleMania going to be good, average, bad, horrific, or excellent?
I think WrestleMania is probably going to be. I think there's going to be a couple of moments that are going to pop, but I think WrestleMania is probably going to be underwhelming. That's my word for it. I think it's going to be underwhelming this year on the top half of the card. I think that's my thought. I hope it's not, but I think it probably will be.
I think it's going to be good. I don't think it's going to be great. I don't think it's going to be excellent. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be above average and good. And I think it's going to be basically Monday Night Raw plus 10, or
yeah,
like it's going to be better than Monday Night Raw, but not like WrestleMania 40. Was 39 the first Roman Cody fight, and then 40 was the 2 nights with The Rock and Seth, and
yeah, I think so.
Because that to me, WrestleMania 39, WrestleMania 40, especially 40, was awesome. It was just because it was something to care about, right?
Well, because you had not feeling very Uso, you had Sammy Uso, all that kind of stuff in that time period, which really was a great story, one of the best storylines in recent memory.
Oh man, just I love it. Jay's just not feeling very Uso.
One of the best. I'll go back and watch that video from time to time, watching all of them, breaking character and trying not to laugh and just dying in the ring and failing miserably at still being heels while they're laughing at Sami Zayn or Sammy Uso, excuse me.
Sammy Uso. I love Sami Zayn. He wasn't feeling very Uso. I don't think Roman was expecting that.
No, not in any way. Not in any way. He was cracking up. It was amazing. That was one of the best moments in modern times.
Oh my God. It's like R-Truth wishing everybody a happy Flag Day. Or I'm in the Judgment Day. Yeah, R-Truth is I'm really glad he's back. I'm digging him. Was that a work? Or was he really fired? That's my only question.
So what it sounds like was he wasn't fired. They told him they weren't going to renew his contract, and it was about to expire, and that's why he said he was fired. And everybody lost their damn minds, which should have, because they needed to be keeping truth around. Come on now. Truth, Chelsea Green. You got to protect them both at all costs.
So I'm going to ask you Chelsea Green, and I'm going to ask you another question about wrestling before I allow you to promote yourself. So I view Chelsea Green. You've heard the term kingmaker, right?
Yes.
Chelsea Green is a queen maker.
She is a queen maker. However, she deserves her chance to be the queen because she is so good on the mic. She's good in the ring. She's good at putting people over. She doesn't need to win to keep her status, but you need to reward that from time to time as well. And she needs to be at the top and have her run because she is just so good and she does so much for making storylines be good that she's involved in that you can't not allow her to be at the top from time to time. She'd have to be a heel. She'd have to be a heel when she's at the top. She needs to not go win the belt and be like, I thank each and every one of you for coming out here because then everybody's going to hate her. She needs to be the kind of heel that's up there and completely just slags the entire crowd and makes them boo her when she's got the belt. That's the Chelsea we need to be the world champion.
Yeah, no. Again. I think she's invaluable, and whatever she's making, she should be making double because she's invaluable. She's invaluable unless she's making like $5 million and then she's being paid right. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. I mean, if she's making like $3 million a year, like I'll stay corrected on that because she's worth $3 million at least. But whatever she's making, she needs to be making more. And the other thing about her is she's red carpet ready. And
yes.
Alexa Bliss is the same way, where Alexa Bliss is red carpet ready. And that's a skill. Seth Rollins is red carpet ready. And there are certain people that you could put Seth Rollins on. He was just on
he was on ESPN.
Yeah,
he was First Take, yeah.
He was with Stephen A. Smith, and then he put Becky Lynch as like the greatest Royal Rumble winner, and that was great. That was great. But and then he was on Netflix's football stuff. He's on the half show and like commentary, and he's just red carpet ready. He's just red carpet ready, and he was doing Super Bowl stuff too, which was great. And if you listen to him, he was all Seahawks. So I don't know what's going to happen at Mania with him, but maybe he's going to be doing some kind of Kenneth Walker stuff. So I don't know. But anyway, and then the other question I have. And it's an important question, is that I have this card, and I'm planning to get it signed by R-Truth, and I don't know what I should get R-Truth to sign it on as I get it graded. It is a 101 foil fractor R-Truth, him as Ron Killings. So I'm looking for suggestions.
You talking about, you want to know, should he sign it as Ron Killings? Should he sign it as R-Truth? Should he sign it as
what he is going to put on the card as like an inscription?
He's got to put something on that doesn't make any sense, like
Happy Flag Day.
Oh man, I don't know. I have to think about that, but something about when he always mischaracterized being in the Judgment Day and stuff like that. That'd be great.
Oh my God, something Judgment Day, Happy Flag Day. Let's challenge the UConn basketball team, something like that, because I'm going to get it graded, right? And that's the thing. So it's going to be an encapsulated, graded, card by PSA, and it's going to be sick because it's a 101. So automatically as it sits, there's no other card like that in the world.
Yep, and you just got to make sure it's not something that personalizes it to you, because that's when it would go down in value. It has to be something that just makes it better because R-Truth has said something ridiculous on it.
Oh, it's going to be the greatest R-Truth card ever. It already is. I mean, because it's a 101. And every time I post it up, people are like, fuck, dude. Like, by the way, 101s are really hard to get. They are really hard to get from Topps now. I pulled 2, and I've spent like probably $80,000 on cards.
Dang.
I pulled a lot of good stuff. Don't get me wrong here, but when you spend $80,000 and you've probably gone through 30,000 cards, and you pull 2 101s out of that, that's not very good odds, is it?
They just don't like your area of the country. They just don't send the boxes with 101s up there.
So they send me a lot of 5 of 5s, and a lot of like, you know, 10s of 10s and like 25s. I mean, they got me the Stephanie Vauquer one autoed of that. The John Cena relics that I showed, they got me those. Like those are really limited cards, but like the 101s are just not. It's random, and there's only so many, right? And that's the whole thing. So there you go. But you know, no complaints from Topps. Never ever complaining from Topps. But I digress because I do want to give you a chance to promote yourself. Spoke about a lot of stuff. And where could people find the campaign, back the campaign, hear your wrestling takes, you know, complain about NC State because they had a rough night.
Oh man. I'm so happy to actually have a good team now, but man, tonight was rough. So on that note, so Tatsumi the Serpent Mistress 1 and 2 is on Kickstarter right now. You can go to tinyurl.com/Tatsumi2, that is TATSUMI2, to go up to the campaign. It's only live for 3 more days. It ends Friday, February 13th at 5 p.m. Eastern. Andrew Mecca Davis is going to be up there before then. He's going to be looking at the trading cards, looking at the wooden covers. I know that he wants to see his name inscribed on that Port of Alabasas welcome list that's going to be in the issue itself. I know that he is going to be a fan of this issue, fan of this series. We want you to be alongside of him and be a supporter of this campaign. Great story about Tatsumi, who is an Onabageisha, who has seen her world get destroyed, and now she is on a path of retribution and revenge. She has had to take up a side with a renegade pirate crew of the Side Stalker. Think Pirates of the Caribbean and live action One Piece meets martial arts heroines. You're going to love this story. But the campaign ends on Friday, February 13th at 5 p.m. Eastern. Now, if you're like, dude, that sounds really cool, but I want to see the other stuff you got. I want to listen to the meta music. I want to see the articles that Steph writes for sites like Fangoria and Horror Geek Life. And she also has some exclusive ones. We're going to be probably dropping one tomorrow, exclusive movie reviews that drop onto our site exclusively. You can go to linktree.com/InSymmetry Creations, INSYMMETRY Creations, and there are links to everything that we do up there, including our blog of destiny on Substack. But yeah, that and the tiny URL for the Kickstarter campaign, that's where you can go to see everything in Symmetry Creations.
And then I will back it. I'm not going to back it live because I don't want you to see my credit card info, everybody. Like 2 weeks ago, like somebody, you know, almost bought a $3,000 laptop with my Apple credit card. Not a fun day.
No, not at all.
Get out of me, man. Oh, very unpleasant. Very unpleasant. Very scary because you're like, where's this $3,000 bill? But I will back it. You know, I've already committed to that now since you forced me. So thanks a lot. No, I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it, right? I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it. But
absolutely.
So, but all jokes aside, obviously, you know, I'm going to promote myself. Obviously, I am Pop Anime Comics on Twitter/X. I am a lot calmer on Twitter now that football is over. I get very creative during the football season. So my Twitter is somewhat calmer. So if you would like a peaceful environment, Twitter's the place to go for me. You know, I post sometimes cute cat videos there, but come August, it's aggressive. It's like blood sports when my team is not doing well, and I get very creative with words. Especially when you have a lot of money on the game. I get very creative. So fun August, guys. Andrew Twitter time /X time. Instagram, you're posting a lot on there. Pop Anime Comics. Facebook is Pop Anime Comics. TikTok, Pop Anime Comics. YouTube's a big deal. I have over 2,000 videos, almost 1,200 interviews, a lot of micro content. Got a lot more coming. Got an interview on Wednesday with somebody. Got another 2 scheduled so far in February. Gonna probably have a 3rd one or a 4th one or 5th one. You never know who's coming on my show, when they're coming on my show, why they're coming on my show, and you don't know what age range they're gonna be in. If they're adult or not adult, you just don't know. So that's something to be subscribing on YouTube, Pop Anime Comics. I promise you, I can't make you smarter, but I can entertain you. So that's everything that I got going on. And then the other thing is that
I hope that's your tagline, man. That's a great tagline. I can't make you smarter, but I can entertain you. That's your tagline right there, man. I love it.
That's next year's tagline. This year's is back to the basics. Back to the basics is this year because we're going back to kind of what started this whole thing 12 years ago, give or take. Much like the Seahawks. You know. So but that is a good tagline. I'm probably I should make it on a shirt next year. That's next year's tagline. But I do have an eBay store. This is my eBay store. Look for comics and collectibles. Come shop with us on eBay. Pop Anime Comics Collectibles. I sell a lot of cards, a lot of comics. I sell books like this in my store. I have all 15 of them. So I have that book. I have all 15 of those. All 15 of these. I do sell cards like this in my store, but my clients are telling me they can't see it. It's very upsetting. I don't know why. You know, I have these as a card. I have stuff like this. Oh, it took you a minute. I'm glad it took you a minute, right? I do sell stuff like this, which are limited 25 Angel Reach Draft Night cards. I sell stuff like this, which is a super rare card. So that comes into my market all the time. Stuff like this comes in. And then every once in a while, I will sell a relic like this in my store. So those do come in my store, and I do sell stuff like that all the time. And so, yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff that comes into my store that I pull, I buy, I trade for, and you never know. But the stuff that is super rare, like a matte relic or autographs, it doesn't stick around for long. And I sell everything from a $8 card all the way up to $1,500 plus cards and comics. So if you're looking for something, go to my eBay store. Links down below in the description, as well as go through it, look for what you want. If you don't see it, shoot me a message on eBay because I may have it. It just might not be listed. And if I don't have it, I know a lot of people in cards and comics, and I'm more than happy to direct you to the right people so you can get what you want. Because, well, if I just don't have it, I want you to get what you need the most efficient way possible. And so that's everything that I do. And on that note, I'm going to give you the final word.
Hey, thank you for letting me come on here and talk about our stuff and bullcrap about everything else that happens. Like I said, you guys that are out there, definitely love you to be able to go out there and see and support what we do. We really think that what we do is stuff that you're going to really like. And again, thank you all for joining us tonight on the show. For Matt Knowles, my name is Andrew Mecca Davis. I mean, my name is Andrew Mecca Davis on behalf of Matt Knowles. Oh, wait, whatever. My name is Andrew Knowles on behalf of Matt Davis. I'll get this right one of these times, dude. No, seriously, my name is Matt Knowles from Insurgency Creations. Really enjoyed being on here. Thanks a lot, Andrew, for having me on. Really appreciate it, Matt.
I don't think I could have said that any better myself, buddy, and that is a wrap.